Okay, so let's come around to extended child's pose. So take a moment to find that place that's fairly easy to be. Or you can relax into the pose for a moment. Finding subtle stretches, subtle sensations, but not putting all our effort into stretching out. Let the belly relax towards the floor. And find a nice little long, deep breath there. Let the face soften, let the head relax. Allow your breaths to become deeper, longer, slower. As you feel the sensation of the breath flow through the torso, through the ribs, all the way down into the belly. And as you exhale, feel that sense of just landing on your mat, just arriving here, becoming present with this moment, with this breath. Then go ahead and draw the belly in towards the spine. Start to inch those arms out nice and long. So inch those fingers forward. As you reach the hips back, finding more sensation in the body. Nice big breath there. Inhale. And exhale, sink and pull back. And then on the inhale, lift up, shift forward, and dip the hips down just a little bit. So our hands are a little forward of where they would be for up dog. So, so listen to your body. It's early, so only dip those hips down. And on your way back, use that core. Kind of think a little baby cat in your pulling back as you reach those hips all the way back. Okay, so the inhale is lifting up, shifting forward. The exhale, settling the hips down. As you settle the hips down, push away from the floor and pull the shoulders back. And then use that core to lift those hips back. And again. I'm gonna cramp in my foot. One more time. And the next time you press back, walk those hands back a little bit so you can come on up to downward facing dog. And just pedal those feet, rock the hips, find some movement, whatever feels good. Just explore the body, explore the shoulders, the legs, whatever you can find there. And let's press it back. Root those hands, so spread those fingers wide, press into the palms, and push those hips on back as you draw the heels down towards the floor. Subtle little tuck of the tailbone as we hollow out the belly. Peel the upper arms away from the ears without bending the elbows. So push back, straighten the arms, but try and pull the upper arms away from the ears. As you pull the lower shoulder blades, the inside edge of the shoulder blades together, draw the belly in. Walk the feet back, or hands to the feet. Oh my God, you guys, I can't talk today. Hands to the feet towards the back of your mat. Some distance in between the feet, half lift. Inhale and exhale. Hinge. Hello, hamstrings. So get that nice sensation in the back of the legs, as much sensation as feels right and good for you in this moment. And then bend those knees and drop it down to ragdoll, keeping those feet close. So we're not stepping them as wide as we normally would for our ragdoll, but just drop heavy, maybe give the head a little wiggle, and then bring it on up nice and slow. Take your time coming up. Scoop those arms up once you get there and bring it to the heart for Robin's breath. Nice inhale here at the heart. And exhale, bend those knees, round the spine, dive forward, reaching as you tuck the chin. On the inhale, stretch those arms out to a T. Scoop the tailbone under and squeeze the glutes as you lift the heart up to the sky and draw the arms back. Bend the knees before you release, dive it back forward. Palms together, tuck the chin, and then inhale back to the heart. Okay, so nice inhale. So that would normally just be one breath. We'd inhale here and then exhale, dive right back forward. Okay, so let's find our rhythm with the breath. So inhale here at the heart. Exhale, bend those knees, dive it forward. Nice big inhale, open up. And release, dive it forward, exhale. Inhale back to the heart. Exhale, dive. Inhale, open up. Really pull those arms back so you can wake up those pectorals. We want those pectorals stretched out a little bit. We're working towards dancer pose. So keep the flow going. Open up that chest, open up those arms, get that stretch. One more time. Next time you land at the heart, pause there. Let the shoulders soften down. Pull the knees back and stand up tall. Inhale up. Exhale, dive it back down to our Uttanasana, our standing forward bed. Pivot those hips. So reach those sitting bones up away from the heels. Bend those knees, walk the hands back forward into our downward facing dog. And stretch it back. And shift forward, drop those knees down to tabletop. So walk the hands back so those wrists are right underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Press away from the floor. Find this nice solid tabletop. So it's nice flat, so there's no dumping down. We're pulling that lower belly up to create that nice flat back. Stretch out that right leg behind you and that left arm. On the inhale, lift the leg, lift the arm, look forward. On the exhale, kick that back foot. So just bend the knee and kick, and then squeeze in. So as you squeeze in, elbow comes outside the hip, knee comes straight forward. So we're not crossing over center. Inhale, stretch it out, lift up, look up. Exhale, squeeze in. I get a cramp in the other foot. Apparently I'm a little dehydrated this morning. All right, the next time you squeeze in, squeeze, 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 and release. And I have a frog in my boot. All right, let's stretch out that other leg, square off that hip, get that core fired up, pull that lower belly way up in, stretch out that right arm. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, kick and squeeze. And the next time you come in, squeeze in and release it down. Walk those hands towards you. I gotta tuck my toes because I keep getting that cramp. Okay, so rise on up to those knees. Knees are right underneath the hips. So we don't want them out too wide. Want them right underneath us. Back toes can be tucked or tops of the feet can be on the floor. Scoop that tailbone under. So scoop the tailbone forward. Pull the hips back, pull the belly button back, squeeze the glutes. Bring those hands on the back of the hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep those elbows squeezing together as you lift the heart up to the sky. Keep that tailbone scooping forward and the belly pulling in, the heart lifting up. Breathe. And slowly release back down to tabletop. Shift those hips from side to side. And then make a circle with the hips. Just kind of shifting forward off to the side and pushing back. Other direction. And back to center. Nice inhale into cow. Exhale, cat. And 2 more. And the next time you exhale, tuck those toes, lift those knees back up to our downward facing dog. Press it back. And shift forward into plank. You might have to wiggle those feet back a little bit to find that plank. You can drop the knees down if you like, or keep them up. Push on up, way, way up. So you don't want to feel the heart lifting. You want to feel the heart pulling forward as you press from the wrist to the armpits. Inhale, exhale, knees down, lie down. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, bring it on down, roll on over to your left side and stretch that left arm straight out in front of you to a T. So it's not up overhead, it's straight out. Palm flat, press your tricep and your upper arm and shoulder into the floor and reach back and grab that right foot. Bring the knee down so it's right in front of the hip. And then pull that heel into the bottom to stretch out that quad. Those quads, there's 4, hence quadriceps. So pull that heel in. If you need more stretch, push the hips forward as you pull the knee back, but you're pulling the foot into the bottom. Okay, now lift the knee up a little, lift the foot higher than the knee, kick the foot away to stretch out that arm long, roll that shoulder open. So you want to feel the shoulder blade squeezing into the back. The foot is stretching the arm out long. Push the ribs forward. So you might even lift them up and move them forward as you lift up and kick back into half bow. Keep that upper arm pressing into the floor. The whole body's pressing into the floor. The trick here is, what makes it hard is if we roll the hip forward, it makes it so much easier. Can you keep that right hip stacked on top of the left? You've really got to glue the body to the floor. As you kick back, I like to look up at the ceiling. Find the breath wherever you're at. For half bow, Ardha, Dhanurasana. Danu is bow. Let's release that into a twist. Bring the knee in front of you and open that right arm out into a twist. If you had anything underneath your head, move it. And just let that right arm fall open to a T. Get that stretch in the front of that pectoral, front of that shoulder. And roll it on around to the belly. You got to kind of wiggle your way back onto your mat there. We'll end up in Sphinx. So take a moment to get those elbows underneath. Push away from the floor, squeeze the glutes and pull the shoulders back, pull the heart forward. Find the breath. And bring the gaze down in between the arms. Make sure the elbows are underneath the shoulders, palms flat, tuck the toes, lift the hips up to forearm plank. Find the breath. Knees are lifting up so the thighs are strong. Press from the elbows to the armpits. So push that collarbone away from the floor as you find the breath. Long line from the heels up through the back of the neck. And lift those hips up, walk those feet forward into half feather peacock. I like my feet close together on this one, touching. You can adjust your feet to where they want to be, but push up, push back. If your elbows are too wide, your head's going to drop towards the floor. So make sure those elbows aren't too wide. Push up, push back. So you're continuing to push away from the floor. As you push back, look back at your ankles. Draw the shoulder blades down the back or squeeze them together. Push up, push back, breathe. Drop those knees on down to the floor. Inch the elbows towards the knees until you can come into child's pose. So just bring those arms along the sides. Drop heavy here. Just take a moment to let those shoulders rest. And bring it on up, lifting all the way back up to those knees for our supported camel or baby camel, if you will. So scoop that tailbone back underneath, squeeze those glutes, tilt the hips back. So pull the belly button into the spine. Hands on the back of the hips. So you can use fists, fingers aiming down or even fingers aiming up if you're feeling crazy today. Draw those elbows together. Keep the tailbone reaching forward, belly pulling in as you lift the heart up. Maybe the gaze can go up. Keep those elbows squeezing together. Keep that breath going. And use your core to lift you forward back in to tabletop. Shift those hips from side to side. Make a circle. Other direction. And back up to downward facing dog. So notice if your heels are getting any closer to the floor. We're not doing a whole lot with the legs, so maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Just notice. Push on back. Draw that belly in. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Find that breath. And shift it forward into your plank. Roll those feet back if you need to. Find that nice solid plank. Find the breath. Inhale. Exhale, knees down. Lie down. All the way down. Moving to the other side for our half bow. So roll onto your right side. And bring that arm straight out in front of you. Press that upper arm into the floor. We underestimate how much we need the body pressing into the floor to get solid here. So the whole side body, from the foot all the way up to the hip to the shoulder, is really pushing into the floor. Reach back. Uh-oh, can I get it? Yes, I got it. Okay, I can't bring my knee down as low as I need to on this one because my knee won't do it. So bring your knee down lower than mine is right now. So the knee is right in front of the hip as you pull the heel into the bottom. Whew, baby. I haven't been stretching enough, my knee enough. I should be able to do this by now. All right, let's lift that foot up. Roll the shoulder open. So you want to feel the inside of the elbow spin up towards the ceiling. Feel that shoulder blade hug into the back. The foot is kicking the hand away, so it's stretching out the arm as you push the hips and ribs forward. Glue the body into the floor as you kick back and lift up into half bow. Keep that breath going. And releasing into your twist. Once again, moving anything that might be under the head. Let that left arm flop open to a T. And just let that arm get heavy. All right, let's take it back around onto the belly, back into our Sphinx. So take a moment to wiggle around. Get those elbows under the shoulders. Press up away from the floor. Draw the shoulders back. Squeeze the glutes. And pull that heart forward as you draw the shoulders back. And then if you like, you can try lifting the elbows up off the floor. That's a lot. They might not straighten all the way. Draw the shoulders down and back. Maybe lift the chin. Keep that breath going. And bring those elbows down if they're up. Tuck the toes, lift those hips up. Back to our forearm plank. Find the breath. Push the collarbone away from the floor. You want that nice smooth space in the upper shoulders. Keep that breath going. Lift those hips up. Walk the feet forward. Bring the elbows in if they slid out. So they're right underneath you. Push up. Push back for our half feather peacock. Draw the shoulders. It's just like down dog. So you want to feel that kind of pulling back and opening of the upper arms, and then the squeezing in of the lower shoulder blades, the inside edge of the shoulder blades. Push up, push back, gaze at the ankles. You can stay here or you can lift a leg up if you like. You can even shift forward a little bit if you like, if you want to play around with it, would feel like to try and come into forearm stand. Or you can just hang out there in your dolphin pose or your half feather peacock. I don't even think I could do forearm stand anymore. All those fancy days are over. All right, when you're ready, drop those knees on down. Hinge the elbows back. They don't have to be. They might come back into our child's pose. Arms along the sides. And just let everything drop heavy here. All right, let's bring those hands forward. Hop on up to our downward facing dog. And press it on back. And let's walk those feet forward to the front. Half lift when you get there. And hinge. And all the way up. Into the heart. All right, so hopefully you have a solid surface to work with. You can step off. If you're on carpet, make sure you step off of your mat at the very least. But if you have a hard surface nearby, tile or wood, just a little piece that you can stand on, then grab that. If not, then you'll work with what you got. All right. So just take a moment to find a good space where you feel like you can get a solid ground underneath you. And let's shift the weight over to that left foot. So pull the knee back, pull the hip in, and just find your balance there. When you're ready, reach back. You got to kind of kick it out to the side to grab that foot, but then bring it back in. This is our half bow standing up. So it's the same exact thing we were doing on the floor, but now we're standing up. So grab that foot, bring the knee back in underneath you, pull the heel into the bottom. You might even use two hands if that's available. And then if you have it with two hands, let that other one go and just start to roll the shoulder open just like we did on the floor. So roll it open, spin the inside of the elbow out and kick back. The other arm can help you balance. You can come forward as you go back further. Find the breath, use a gaze. I moved my gaze, so I lost it. Find your breath, find center, both hips aiming forward. Open up that shoulder, breathe. If you want to dive forward, feel free to dive forward. And slowly release. Give a little shake in those hips. All right, I need somebody here to help me get my foot. I should be able to get it by myself by now. Like I said, I've not been doing my stretches. Come on. All right, I got it. All right, find your other side, take your time. Do your quad stretch first. Find that breath wherever you're at. And if you dove forward on the other side, give it a go on this side. Keep that breath going. And slowly release. Give it a little shake. All right, let's bring it down to the floor, onto your back. Hug those knees on into the chest when you get there. Give a little rock from side to side. And then squeeze those knees on and lift the head up. Squeeze into a tight little ball. And release those feet on down to the floor. Oh, grab a block if you have one. Sorry, should have said that before you came down to the floor. I just thought about it. If you don't have one, that's fine. You can just hold yourself up in bridge for as long as you like. We're gonna do supported bridge and kind of imaginary legs up the wall. So if you have a block, grab it. The thin long edge is gonna go underneath the hips. Okay, so once you Get back down onto your back and have your block in your hand. You're going to lift the hips up and slide that block underneath the back of the hips. So take a moment. Again, it's the thin, long edge that our hips are on. So the wide, so we have the full width of the block underneath the hips. So it's not going from top to bottom, it's going side to side. Okay, and so you can put that wherever you want, just not up in the back, not in the low back. So it's on the back of the hips. Maybe it could be lower down towards the bottom, wherever it feels good. But when you get it, you should be able to just relax. You should just be able to flop the arms open and let the body drop down and have it feel okay. So your feet can be wide. Keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor. For this one, I know some people like to stretch out their legs, but let's just land here for a moment. So let the whole body drop, let it just relax. Close the eyes, let the arms flop open, palms facing up, and just find the breath here. And then, and if you don't have a block, you're holding yourself up in bridge, you're just holding those hips up. And then float those feet on up. So if it feels like the block is not in an okay place for you to do that, come down and move the block until you find a place where you feel like it's supporting you well enough that you can float the feet up above the hips. And again, of course, you can do this down on the floor. You don't have to have, and I've got like a crease of my pants is right underneath that block, pressing into my sacrum. So we're gonna smooth that out. There we go. All right, so it should be comfortable. Like if it's uncomfortable, readjust. And this supported legs up the wall, away from the wall. Close the eyes. Find the breath. And of course, again, like I said, if you don't have a block, you could just do this with the hips on the floor. The block gives us just a little lift in the hips, so the hips are a little higher than the heart, a little extra inversion. So the inversions that we do in yoga, headstands, forearm stand, all those fun things that we don't do anymore. It's been a year. It's ridiculous. I haven't done a forearm stand in a year. So yeah. So, I'm thinking it might be a little rough the first go around. That is the purpose of them, to get literally upside down, but the purpose is to get the blood flowing, more blood into the organs, heart, brain, more oxygen. So if there's more blood flowing through those things, there's more oxygen. And so this accomplishes it. You don't have to go all the way upside down. All right, so bring one foot down at a time, one foot, and then the other, feet wide. So you can slide that block out. Nice and slow. Come down vertebrae by vertebrae. So scoop the tailbone up towards the ceiling. So round the low back a little as you come down. So the hips are the last thing to hit. And then adjust those feet and windshield wipe those knees from left to right, side to side. And release those knees on into the chest. Give a little rock. And stretch those legs out, finding Shavasana, corpse pose. So take a moment to adjust. So if Shavasana is not comfortable for you, you can just bend the knees and have the feet on the floor. So you can just be here for a moment, finding the breath. So taking a moment to arrive. Once again, connecting with the subtle sensations in the body, if there are any. Making any adjustments that need to be made for the body to be more comfortable here. And let those arms and legs get heavy. Feel the breath in the body. Come into that breath we started with, that nice big breath, so you feel the fullness of the breath in the body. Let it consume you, connecting completely with the feeling of expansion on the inhale and the release, the sense of letting go on the exhale. Noticing where the mind is at in this moment. Bring it back to the breath. Let it consume you once again for just 2 more breaths here. And feeling that breath in the body once again. So I'm going to let you stay here as long or as little as you like, leaving you with these words. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude as you go throughout your day, looking for every possible moment to find a little more love, grace, and gratitude. Namaste.